Hi there, I'm your host at GamerGuy1991, and today we are going to be talking about two subjects I adore, and two subjects that go hand in hand so well, I'm very surprised they're not mentioned together more often: theme parks and video games. Now for this video and discussion, we're going to be using Walt Disney World as our example of theme parks because, well, it's pretty much the best example there could be. Go into why later on. Now, if you're asking yourself just what the theme parks and video games have in common, I have a couple of questions for you. Secondly, have you ever been to a theme park, and have you ever played a video game? Well, if the answer to those questions is a little murky, I'll lay it out for you. See, theme parks, whether old or new, have always been about immersive experiences. It's always been about telling a story, engaging the audience, and making you feel like you were a part of that adventure. No matter if the adventure was interactive or not, it was always about making you feel like you were a part of it. Does that sound kind of familiar? What most video games are. It's an interactive experience designed to immerse you into the world, whatever that world may be. Theme parks like Disney World were built with that principle in mind. While a lot of theme parks can seem more like a fair, in other words, just a collection of rides to go on, a theme park is just that, a themed park. It's meant to immerse you into whatever the theming of that park is. Just like a game like, for example, Red Dead Redemption is meant to immerse you into the Old West. Now, most of Walt Disney World's theme parks have a central theme to connect all of the different worlds and attractions that they have inside of them. Animal Kingdom, for example, is just that, a world of animalistic kingdoms. And one world in particular, Pandora from the film Avatar, really just shows how video games and theme parks are so closely connected. This area of the park is all about immersing you into the world of Pandora, from a flight on your own Banshee to a peaceful riverboat journey with the Na'vi. Now, Avatar even had its own video game, which before the theme parks was the only way to visit the world of Pandora, which is why it's kind of a really interesting point to talk about theme parks and games together. See, both the film Avatar and the theme park attractions are all about immersing you into this world that's enthralling and adventurous and enjoyable and fun. And this is all what theme parks are. You're never going to get on a theme park attraction that's meant to make you feel depressed. Scared, maybe. Excited, definitely. Depressed, never. And this is where games tend to have a slight issue nowadays. See, we've moved past them being just experiences like an attraction, and now we're building entire worlds. And when you have an entire world, you need a story to connect it. And we're trying to tell more mature storylines now, which is all great. We should be definitely trying to achieve that. But what we should never forget is that much like theme parks and theme park attractions, video games are designed to be fun. You have to want to play them, and so they have to be fun to play for you to experience that story. Now, I could go on about how it's kind of counterproductive to make a really depressing game storyline, but we could talk about video games like The Godfather from over a decade ago that's not about a particularly happy film, but manages to encapsulate the drama of the film and all the main story beats while being incredibly fun, just like any great theme park attraction. Whether you're playing an open world game like The Godfather, which I would liken to being the theme park itself, with many attraction housed within, or you're playing maybe a more linear game like Avatar, which does take place in the world of Pandora, but has you following a very linear path throughout the game. You're meant to hit certain beats at certain times, and the game carefully leads you to these moments. An open world game like Red Dead Redemption 2 is kind of like being thrown into the theme park altogether. It's no longer just one ride guiding you down one single experience. The game is a theme park housed of a multitude of experiences and attractions for you to feast on. This is kind of where gaming's going. And while games used to be just like a singular attraction, think of games like Doom and Call of Duty, it's like getting on Pirates of the Caribbean and going on this interesting set-piece driven experience. And then you have all of these new games like Red Dead Redemption, Metro Exodus, Spider-Man, games that are no longer just the attraction, but the theme park itself. I'm not sure how much longer straight linear games have. I hope they always have a home, but it definitely seems like people want to create theme parks instead of just the attractions themselves. And it can be a lot of fun exploring a theme park, but sometimes it can be exhausting and you just want to get to the next ride. I've had that sensation with a lot of open world games. But when it's at its peak, sometimes just exploring the park can be an utter delight. Sometimes just getting from point A to point B can be some of the most fun you'll ever have. I know that's certainly true in Spider-Man for the PS4. Unlike cinema, there's just a level of immersion that can only be reached in a theme park or video game. And so I hope that theme parks and video games do not forget their unique connection to one another. And I hope theme park enthusiasts and gamers alike remember that unique connection and think about it the next time they're experiencing one or the other.